What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Empire YouTube channel. Today, we have the newest episode of Final Standings Friday, and this is where we discuss the deck of the week and speak on its particular strengths and weaknesses that I felt I analyzed. This week, the deck of choice was Miraidon EX being paired with Regieleki VMAX, and before I get anything in, we're going to have a gameplay up in the background just so that way the screen isn't boring and you guys can actually see some of the plays that I'm talking about or some of the aggression with the deck. Now, Miraidon EX with Regieleki is a powerful deck, and it does have consistent power, as well as an aggressive playstyle that pairs well with the Pokemon that it has in its disposal. Whether you're wanting to draw cards by triggering Fleet-Footed on Raikou V, flood the board with Miraidon EX's ability to grab 2 basic Pokemon, or hit big numbers due to damage buffs from Regieleki, this deck checks all the boxes with it being good. But when it comes down to it, as mentioned, the deck has potential to be good within the meta, and it meets all the criterias with damage, acceleration, tech potential, especially with cards being teched like Klefki, Pikachu VMAX, and even smaller cards like Tool Jammer and Switch Cart. However, this deck does fall short in one critical thing, and that's draw power. This deck relies so heavy on being able to hit damage and accelerate energy that it's hard to justify sometimes when a hand is good versus when a hand is bad because they both look similar. Sure, you can have a good setup turn with Miraidon EX and a couple Regieleki and some generator hits, but what happens after those turns take place? What I found is that as the deck begins to set up, it also comes with one of its biggest flaws, the aggression. And yes, aggression is good, and being able to hit high numbers and take prizes is the point of the deck, but there is a point in which too much aggression can cause for some bad turns. When the deck begins to apply pressure and be aggressive, you're almost on a clock as to when the aggression will be nullified. The reason for this is because when cards like Miraidon EX hit big numbers, they also have a drawback, which means you can't attack the next turn. And this means that you have to constantly have a backup attacker or rely on switch effects. And with cards like Judge in format, it kind of makes those turns very complicated. Especially against decks like Lost Box, it's hard to keep and justify the aggression when the reward is only one prize card. The deck does amazing in a format or meta where there are heavy HP hitters and big 3 prizers on the board, such as opposing VMAXs, or even plays where you can Sky Seal Stone into a V-Star for 3 prizes. Now, I'm not saying that the deck is bad by any means. It does do well, but what you have to learn is how to play through the bad hands and allow yourself to experience the times when the deck will burn out. This is the only way to learn how to play your turns correctly after all, and by playing them incorrectly enough times, you'll begin to understand how to play them correctly. And as you begin to play this deck, you'll understand what I mean as far as the clock running out. The deck, however, does hit big numbers when it draws well, as does any deck, but with cards like Generator and even cards like Flaffy, you have to rely on certain board state scenarios. For instance, with Generator, you most likely hit an energy when you use it turn 1, depending on how much you play, but you're more likely to hit an energy as you draw more through your deck. And this also means that cards like Flaffy will rely on an energy to be discarded as opposed to your hand or your deck. The whole point that I'm trying to make is that with the deck, you need to understand when to apply the right amount of pressure and the right amount of aggression. If you apply aggression too early, you're going to burn out much faster. However, if you apply pressure too late, you're going to learn that you'll fall behind in whatever matchup you're playing. As my great friend Zach says, the deck is good, but when it bricks hard. But you don't learn how to play bad hands correctly until you've played them wrong a few times. So keep your head in the game and prepare yourself for a best of 3. Those are some fine words from Zach, but as you saw with the deck this week, it does have great turns and it does hit well and it does do well in the meta. It can go up against decks like Gardevoir no problem. But the only issue is that there are so many instances in where you're going to have bad hands, and it really comes down to how you play them out. The deck is good, it does hit hard, and it is fun to play, but you won't know how to play it until you get through those bad hands, which are consistent. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Remember, if you do, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next Meta Monday video. As for now, I'm going to get going, but you guys enjoy the rest of the video.